Science explains it, visual arts make it visible. If visual arts create it, science explains its significance in our world.
A very good morning to all joining the valedictory assembly of the Virtual Science and Visual Arts Week.
Science and art have an intrinsic connection, one that has been demonstrated and experienced by generations of artists and scientists, from Leonardo da Vinci to Albert Einstein. The theme of the academic year 2021 to 2022, verb, echoes this thought as well.
Yes, indeed, verb is elan, passion, and vivacity. All of these virtues are integral to becoming successful in the fields of science and art.
Today's assembly will entail a number of events to demonstrate how well integrated science and visual arts are.
Let us now give a propitious start to the day by invoking the blessings of the Almighty with the prayer.
A very good morning to all. O dear Lord, I ask you today, help me create well at work, rest, and play. Provide me constant inspiration, please. Grant me awareness and fulfill my needs. Strengthen my soul, body, and mind. Help me understand scientific marvel whose perfect embodiment is the environment. Help me express myself artistically so that I may convey my thoughts and ideas to others as I may understand theirs. Keep me humble, kind, fair, and true. Let me remain in the light and love of you. In all that springs forth from inside of me, I give back in thanks eternally. Amen.
Now we will have the thought for the day.
Good morning. The thought for the day is all outstanding work in art as well as in science results from immense zeal applied to a great idea. I repeat, all outstanding work in art as well as in science results from immense zeal applied to a great idea. Thank you and have a great day.
Our guest of honor today is Dr. Priyanka Das. She is a French aerospace engineer cum artist born in India whose work involves mixing science, art, and space.
Growing up in Delhi, obtaining a bachelor's degree in physics from St. Stephen's College, she moved to France at age 21 to explore new horizons, learn a new language, and eat French food.
Her work draws inspiration from her Indian roots and her travels, from Brazil to Mount Loa volcano in Hawaii, and next Antarctica.
Being an artist scientist in the space industry does not go unnoticed. She has won numerous awards, including a feature in the Forbes India 30, Under 30, and the 2021 Common Fellowship. Without much further ado, we present to you an exclusive interview with Dr. Priyanka Das.
Hello, good morning. My first question, you are an artist and a scientist. They're such different subjects. How do you combine them? Do you think one field helps the other?
Science and art we've been taught since we've been growing, since our childhood, that they're different subjects. But to me, they're really more or less the same. It's just a way of viewing the universe. One could be argued to be a bit more pragmatic than the other one, with a set of structures and laws about how to go about. Like doing science, you have a method, and while for artists, it's really about expressing yourself.
Your artwork is part of the first moon gallery. That's literally out of this world. Please tell us more about it.
So the Moon Gallery is an idea conceived by a few scientists and artists who work in collaboration with the European Space Agency. And the idea was to send a message across that space is not just about rocket science, it's about art, it's about humanity, it's about culture. You cannot have human civilization without art and culture. It's always been an integral part of our society and always will be. And we seem to have this idea that astronauts are, highly trained individuals who are very stoic. They don't have an artistic side to them, which is not true. Thomas Pesquet, for example, the French astronaut, he had taken his saxophone on board the ISS. And I don't know if you're aware, but the American astronaut Mike Fink, the NASA astronaut. He's married to an Assamese woman, Renita Saikia, and he had done the Bihu dance from the ISS.
Wow.
And so art and culture for me, it's like a very important part of our society, and to sort of to portray this idea concretely, they decided to send a gallery to the moon, except that it can go up to 1 million euros per kilogram to send anything there. So they went creative and they said, why not have a miniature gallery of ideas and just send it. So you have this platform that's 10 into 10 centimeters, and it's divided into 100 little cases, 1 centimeter cube each. And the challenge to the artist is to try and fit their artwork into this. And my artwork is sort of a mix between art and science, because that's me. I use these algorithms I had coded for displaying something artistic, and I'm sending that.
It sounds really just like amazing, honestly. So you'll also be traveling to Antarctica. How did that come about?
So this is another program called Homeward Bound Projects. It's meant for women in STEM with a double M, so science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medicine. So so the idea of the Homeward Bound Projects is to select 1,000 women across several years, 10 to 15 years, and have this collection of women come together, have discussions, and build leadership qualities, that kind of thing. And also because you need something nice, you have it with the backdrop of Antarctica, and so that's how it came. So every year they send about 80 to 100 women to Antarctica.
And I'm sure that's encouraging as well, because you just got to keep going.
Yes, exactly. And plus Antarctica has been a more or less male-dominated continent, because not a lot of scientists who go there actually happen to be women. And so this is like you send a group of women to Antarctica. It's also it's a nice message, and also it helps us speak to the public about global warming, its effect on Antarctica, and how we should take it seriously.
Do you think you would be a good scientist if you weren't an artist?
It's an interesting and difficult question to answer, because I really cannot imagine myself with only half of me. And I'm sure I would have been a very different person if my parents, who really encouraged me to continue my artistic pursuits as a kid, if they had not given me that interest and initiative, I don't know how I would have been. And I'm glad it turned out this way.
It's an amazing combination, obviously. I mean, now you've made India proud by winning so many awards and accolades. What qualities do you think are needed to achieve such feats?
The main quality would be curiosity, and the second one would be fighting against self-censorship. Thinking that you're not good enough. I mean, I can take my own example. For example, I come from the northeast of India. I grew up in Delhi. I had to face, let's just say, a few uncomfortable situations growing up, and that sort of pushed me to just not really. Well, if I can say it in front of a school audience, not really give it time, but and just continue pursuing what I'm interested in, pursuing my interests.
Also, you were recently you came under Forbes 30 under 30 Achievers in India. So how did that feel, when you got your name there? What was that like?
Frankly, I didn't know what to say when I received it. I was extremely excited because I was not a CEO of any company, or was not the most followed YouTuber or something like that. But I was really happy that the domain of art science was coming into, was becoming important, was catching attention, and this way people would. It was also a good message to the general public that you can be an artist and a scientist at the same time, and that you can mix the two without them being, instead of them being parallel career paths, you can actually mix the two to make one single career path with different aspects. So I was quite humbled, honored, and excited.
Okay, thank you so much for coming and talking to us. It's so encouraging seeing you and the way you said that. I mean, I really do believe that dreams do come true if you keep working. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you for your time. And yeah, do pursue your dreams.
Who says science and art don't have chemistry? Who says that India's traditional arts don't involve science? Who says that science and art don't have an intrinsic connection? India's rich cultural heritage has bestowed us with the gift of art forms that have science painted into every stroke and weaved into every stitch, that base their existence on both the aesthetics of art and the properties of science.
Absolutely. Let's delve deeper into the science of Indian aesthetics with this presentation on the chemistry between art and science.
Good morning, my name is Zahra, and today I will be talking about science in folk art. Indian folk artists were also scientists, using their knowledge of the science of their immediate environment to create beautiful, sustainable art forms that have lasted for so many generations. A good example of such folk art is the Bidri work. It consists of silver engraving on metal such as zinc, copper, and a particle type of earth. The active agent for producing the black surface is an alkali nitrate, which, when mixed with excess ammonium chloride and rubbed with water on the alloy, gives the required black tint. Pattachitra. Pattachitra is a traditional cloth-based scroll painting from Odisha and West Bengal. Pattachitra art form is known for its intricate details as well as mythological narrative and folk tales inscribed in it. This sustainable folk art form uses only natural colors. Kalamkari. Kalamkari is a hand-painted or block-printed cotton textile produced in Andhra Pradesh. Kalamkari literally means a form of painting the cotton fabric with a kalam, which is pen, made from sharp and pointed bamboo-nibbed applicator that regulates the flow of color on the fabric. Only natural dyes are used. Madhubani. Madhubani art is a style of Indian painting practiced in the Mithila region of India. This painting is done with a variety of tools such as fingers, twigs, brushes, and nib pens. Madhubani paintings use two-dimensional imagery, and the colors are derived from plants such as ochre and lampak. Science of natural colors. We know that all these folk arts have used natural colors. These natural colors are extracted from seeds, roots, leaves, wood, flowers, fruits, and vegetables. The stark divide between the arts and the literature and the natural sciences occurred only in the 19th century. In the medieval ages, art and music were as much parts of education as were arithmetic and astronomy. Leonardo da Vinci is perhaps one of the finest examples of a scientist and artist rolled into one. Here you can see Leonardo da Vinci's flying machine, whose model is similar to the model of an airplane and has the same principles. Who says scientists cannot be artists? Here are some paintings made by the students of the Indian Institute of Science. On the left, you can see extinction of dinosaurs by meteoroids painted in the Sohrai style of tribal art, and on the right, you can see the invention of zero by Indians. and the popularization by the Arabians are connected by a wormhole. So from this we can see that you can visualize scientific concepts through folk art paintings. Thank you.
Art is full of opinions as science is full of hypotheses. Opinions may be conclusive or non-conclusive. A scientific example of this would be asking if elementary particles like electrons, photons and gluons are waves or particles. An artistic instance of this would be to decide which one is better, impressionism or realism. How do we gauge who is right and who is wrong?
Well, the amalgamation of science and art gives us solutions to this puzzling mystery as well. No opinion in science or art is incontrovertible. Louis de Broglie thought of light as waves. Albert Einstein thought of light as particles, or else the photoelectric effect wouldn't have been possible. Turns out, both of them were right. Light has been proven to be present as both waves and particles. This is wave-particle duality. Similarly, beauty truly does lie in the eyes of the beholder. So whether it is Claude Monet's Impressionism or a master photographer's realism, all are equally beautiful.
And just along these lines, the students of Sun City School have prepared an enlightening skit demonstrating how clashes of opinions may arise even in the classroom but can amicably be resolved through art and science.
Life is all about perceptions. Everyone has different point of views. Some may see the number 6 and the others may see a 9. So it is important to listen to everyone's opinions so that you yourself can broaden your mind. Our skit is based on this very topic, that we should have an open mind and listen to others. There is a classroom in which the teacher is teaching and the students are having a discussion. Let's have a look.
Okay, children, pay attention. I'm teaching something very important.
So you say this every day.
And Arav, you say this every day. For you, nothing is important because you don't even study. Ugh.
Okay, children, so are these people at rest or motion?
So they are in motion.
Are you blind? Can't you see that they are at rest?
Bro, what is rest? What is motion?
Abhi, you don't know what's rest and motion. Go home and study and stop playing video games.
Abhay, I will explain this to you separately. By the way, Arav and Srishti, you both are correct.
Then how is this possible? Only I am correct and I know that.
Listen, Arav, it is not necessary that you are always correct. Even Srishti is correct.
See, Arav, even I am correct.
Oh, the lesson got over. I will continue this in the next lesson.
Arav was not satisfied with the class discussion today. Arav got agitated and was not ready to accept that anybody else can be right except for him. Then in the lunch break, he went to the corridor in front of the art class where he met with the art teacher.
What happened, Arav?
Ma'am, nobody listens to me. Ma'am, today in physics class, sir said that both of our answers were correct. But ma'am, I believe my answer was absolutely right and our answers were polar opposite. Ma'am, how is this possible?
Didn't you ask your teacher?
Ma'am, I asked him, he said that I'll explain it to you in next class.
Till then, let me clear your doubt.
Ma'am, you'll teach me physics?
No, I will explain to you point of views. I believe no one's opinion is wrong. Every situation can have more than one solution. For example, this dress. What color do you see it as?
I see blue.
But I see golden. Who do you think is correct?
Me.
But I am also correct, and if you ask others, they will also have different views. To some people, it appears as white and golden, and to some as blue and black. There are many theories for this, and no theory is wrong. Another example are the types of COVID vaccines. Do you know about that?
Yeah, Covaxin and the Covishield.
Yeah, there's also Moderna and Pfizer, which are based on mRNA, and all their work is to develop immunity against the virus. Thus, from this example, we can learn a problem can have more than one correct answer.
Yes, ma'am, I get it now. And it's my fault that I did not respect others' opinion.
After talking to the art teacher, Arav came to the conclusion that everyone is unique and has a different point of view. From then on, Arav always listened to others and kept an open mind. Now let's see what happened in the next physics lesson.
Continuing the rest and motion discussion, These two people are at rest with respect to each other as they are in the same frame of reference, but they are in motion with respect to the outside as the outer surrounding is not a part of the frame of reference. In other words, they are changing their position with respect to each other with time. Arav, do you get it now?
Yes, sir, I understand the concept as well as the life lesson that I have to understand other people's perspective before arriving at a conclusion.
See, in this way, Srishti is also correct.
After the class, RF came to the conclusion that everyone is unique and has different point of view. From then on, RF always listened to others and kept an open mind.
Our world is full of fascinating scientific phenomena, and their aesthetic appeal corroborates their presence as an artistic marvel. The environment has left us humans with billions of questions, but is also the only entity that can give us the answers.
Yes, Navya, I agree that if there is one thing that is indispensable to human existence, then it is the environment. When I see a rainbow after a stormy day, I feel the verve and energy flowing through each and every vein of mine.
Similarly, curating bonsai trees is a beautiful art form in Japan that aims to blend horticultural skills with Japanese aesthetics. Now, we will have a presentation on rainbows and bonsai.
As rightly said by Albert Einstein, look deep into nature and then you will understand everything better. A very good morning to all. It's a pleasure to be a part of the Science Week, where my classmate Harsh and I are going to showcase how a scientific phenomena develops with a piece of art and gives rise to a magical expression.
I am sure you all agree with me that water is one of the most essential resources for the survival of all mankind and all organisms on Earth. But did you know that water itself takes a very instrumental part in the creation of the nature's piece of art, a rainbow? A rainbow is usually formed where the atmosphere contains water droplets to disperse white light into different colors. For the same reason, it is also known as a vapor. People of every age eagerly wait to have a look at this beautiful phenomena. Many artists have tried to incorporate its beauty into their artwork, but none of them have succeeded to do so. On my left is one of the closest attempts. It is called Gabriel Daw's 60 Miles of Thread. As the name suggests, Gabriel Daw used 60 miles of different colored threads to incorporate its beauty. It is right now one of the 3 most prestigious paintings you can see on Earth. It is presented in Bentonville, Arkansas's Art Gallery.
The year 2020-21 has been a tough time for everyone. All of us have been and still are confined to our homes. But it is also a time where we can rediscover our interests and learn many new things. I too indulge myself in gaining knowledge about how bonsai are created. I believe many of us are aware of what bonsai are. It is a normal plant which is grown in a small pot and is not allowed to grow to its normal size, thus giving rise to a dwarfed tree. The scientific phenomena of growing a plant in a limited area gives rise to a stunted growth which has its own beauty. The process behind this is retardation of growth stimulating hormone which is present at the tips of branches which are clipped from time to time. The branches are tied to a wire so that they are trained to remain constricted. This leads to limited spreading of branches but giving growth inwards, which leads to thickening and shortening of trunk, but maintaining flowers and fruits along with their natural colors, of course smaller in size. I would now like to present a bonsai plant which I find very attractive. This is Japanese maple bonsai. Its scientific name is Acer palmatum. Its uses are It acts as a stress reliever. It cures cough, fatigue, and sore throat, and acts as an air purifier.
During this lockdown, you all might have heard of different medicinal plants like neem, giloy, and tulsi. All of them have different medicinal properties. Like tulsi has anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and antiseptic properties, whereas neem has anti-malarial and antiviral properties. Giloy is the solution to all diseases. It immunes ourselves against everything, almost everything. Giloy also has anti-ulcer and anti-cancerous properties. But there's a twist. Using science and by using proper technique, we can turn these medicinal plants into bonsais. They will serve you as beautification for your homes as well as their medicinal purpose.
I'm sure all of you can also beautify your homes with bonsais. Thank you so much for watching.
Manvi, have you ever thought of what it might feel like for a professional scientist to experience the life of an artist?
Not really, Navya, but I personally feel that contrary to popular belief, such scientists would experience a world full of inspiration and musings through art.
Those were very interesting thoughts, Manvi. Now we have a presentation on artistic scientists.
Leonardo da Vinci remarked, "The human foot is a masterpiece of engineering and a work of art." Good morning, everybody. Today, Amya and I will be presenting to you scientists who were also artists.
Leonardo da Vinci was not only an accomplished artist, but was interested in science as well. He studied anatomy to understand musculature. He studied chemistry to make better quality paints and studied physics so he could understand how light affected his paintings.
Nicolaus Copernicus was also a scientist artist. He was a Renaissance era mathematician as well as an astronomer who had formulated a model where the sun was the center of the universe rather than the earth.
Dr. Homi Bhabha was also an artist who specialized in the oil paint medium. He was the father of India's nuclear program and was also the principal architect of the nuclear program in India. He was awarded the prestigious Padma Bhushan Award and was also nominated for the Nobel Prize in Physics more than 4 times.
Maria Merian was also a German naturalist and science illustrator. She was one of the first naturalists to observe insects directly, and she primarily drew scientific artwork as well as nature.
John James Audubon. John James Audubon was an ornithologist, naturalist, and painter. He extensively studied all types of birds and made detailed illustrations in their natural habitats in his journals. He identified 25 new species of birds during his studies.
It is amazing to see how science and art can work together to achieve wondrous heights. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Optics is the branch of physics that studies the behavior and properties of light, including its interactions with matter. We have all heard about optical illusions. They are marvelous perceptions that continue to amaze and confuse us. Now over to Navya to educate us about optical illusions.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Navya Mehrotra, and today I'll be talking about optical illusions, or the perfect amalgamation of science and art. You may have seen something like this on the internet, the Tokyo Museum of Digital Art. Today, we are going to explore exactly how optical illusions like this work. You may have seen something like this on the internet, or maybe something like this, an image that's actually a still image but appears to be moving. This is called a motion illusion. Motion illusions use contrasting colors together. Luminance, our sense of light and dark, is unreliable. Our brains are able to perceive lighter values much more quickly than dark values. We have 2 types of photoreceptors in our eyes. They're called rod cells and cone cells. Rod cells help us with night vision or darker colors. Cone cells help us with brighter colors or color vision. We have many more cone cells in our eyes than rod cells, and that is why we are able to grasp on to brighter colors much faster, and this illusion works. Here is an example of the rotating disc, and here's another one. Now, I'd like to talk about anamorphosis, an art technique used by artists for millennia. Anamorphosis is an optical illusion whereby an image appears to be totally distorted when seen from the usual vantage point, but appears normal when viewed from a specific angle, which is perspective anamorphosis, or indirectly in a mirror anamorphosis. Have a look at this. This image looks rather obscure and it's hard to make out what it actually is. But when we view it in this mirror, we can make out that it's a chair. This is anamorphosis. One of the most famous examples of anamorphosis is the Ambassador's painting. Here we can see an obscure shape, but when we look at it from the correct angle, we make out that it is actually a very detailed image of the human skull. This was made back in 1533. This is Leonardo's eye, made by Leonardo da Vinci. It looked like a weird shape, but now that we see it from the correct angle, it's easy to make out that it's an eye. So mathematically, it can be explained using the axonometric projection. Simply put, this is the real object, but it looks different according to the viewer's perception. This is something that we've all seen on the internet. A room where one person looks incredibly small while the other looks very big. It's called an Ames room. The actual shape of an Ames room is not a cuboid. Rather, it's a trapezoid like this. The entire room is a frustum. Now, why does this illusion work? It is because in our world, we live in a world of rectangles or cuboids. Everything we see around us would have some sort of right angles. But we do not always perceive it to be so. We live in a carpentered environment. But what if we are looking at something from an angle? Then it looks like a trapezoid. That's why our brain always thinks of trapezoids to be rectangles in a way. Now, what if we had the opposite? What if we had a trapezoid in front of us, but at just the right angle, as we can see in the Ames room? It would look like a rectangle, and that is why this illusion works. With that, I've reached the end of my presentation. Thank you.
The Science and Visual Arts Week has truly been an eventful one. The students of Suncity School took this amazing opportunity to learn and imbibe diverse values relating to an interdisciplinary approach in education.
Art can bring to life scientific concepts, such that confusion changes to clarity. Even in the greatest discovery of the last decade, that of the elementary particle, the Higgs boson, there was an indispensable element of art involved, as the scientists behind the discovery believed in the parallels between art and science, and this guided them through the process.
Absolutely. We have learned how to integrate two subjects that were earlier considered unrelated, but not anymore. So without any further ado, we present to you the glimpses of the week.
I declare the Science and Fine Arts Luminescence 2021 open.
Dear God, I take this day to thank you for all the necessities and amenities you have graciously provided to everyone.
In the scientific news section, supermoon was spotted by scientists on June 24, 2021.
About how bonsai are created. I believe many of us are aware of what bonsai are.
Well, I have a better accidental discovery, buoyancy.
Wow, and you say moth is hard to pronounce? You can't even spell buoyancy.
Wasn't it invented by the Greek scientist who shouted, Eureka?
Ran into the streets of Greece in his bathrobe and shouted, Eureka, Eureka. And that's a good story.
The Tokyo Museum of Digital Art. Today, we are going to explore exactly how optical illusions like this work.
The first underwater art museum, made by British sculptor Jason de Taylor. This sculptor originally made a sculpture, The Lost Correspondent, and submerged it under the sea off the coast of Grenada.
Today I'm going to be making a Cupid painting, so let's get started.
Remove petals from the leaves and put them in mortar and start pounding.
Oprah says I don't get a dramatic entrance. Who doesn't want a dramatic entrance? Oh, oops. We rolling? Like right now?
This is how you react.
The main 5 categories of fine arts were painting, sculpture, music, poetry, and architecture.
Now let's talk about a campus, which is the first to achieve zero waste to landfill sustainability. We would be talking about Infosys Mysore campus. The campus is more efficient, sustainable, and comfortable. This IT giant has proved that eco-efficient architecture is
Why are you looking so lazy?
I'm missing my friends, my teachers. I'm just missing my school song.
We can do pendulum art. Pendulum art?
Dr. Homi Baba was also an artist who specialized in the oil paint medium. He was the father of India's nuclear program and was also the principal architect of the nuclear program.
So now as we know what is the shadow and how is the shadow formed, let's know about the shadow art. So what it says that we use the shadow of objects to make our drawing.
Your artwork is part of the first moon gallery that's literally out of this world. Please tell us more about it.
The idea was to send a message across that space is not just about rocket science. It's about art, it's about humanity, it's about culture. You cannot have human civilization without art and culture.
Please have a look at this. What scientific phenomenon is being observed to create this piece of art?
Is the answer gravitation?
That's absolutely right. The answer is gravitation.
Now we have reached the end of the Virtual Science and Visual Arts Week. We hope this has been a fruitful learning experience for all. Kindly rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे